In this video, we'll take a look at defining and training neural networks at MxNet in Gluon. First, we'll build a multi-layer perceptron in raw MxNet, and then we'll build a multi-layer perceptron in Gluon. So here's a multi-layer perceptron in all of its glory in a very raw MxNet format. Presented this way, it's going to be very difficult to avoid coding the math, though you can certainly treat this as a cookbook recipe. Showing in this raw format is mostly to demonstrate the utility that Gluon is going to provide as layer on. So here are parameters controlling the size of our network, the inputs being a 28 by 28 image, 256 hidden layers, 10 outputs for the 10 digits, batch size of 64, 10 loops, and a small learning rate. And then here's our data importing data loader data set classes we saw from before, where Gluon has a built-in MNIST database, and then we use a transform function to scale it from 0 to 1. So here we're actually building out the raw layers of a multi-layer perceptron. So you have W1, B1, so these are the weights and the biases, and we're going to create a random normal that's the shape of the input image for weight 1, and then the number of hidden layers. And then we have a separate set of image layers, which is W2 and B2, and W3 and B3. Now you notice by W3 and B3, we've actually switched over from the number of hidden to the number of outputs. So we go inputs, hidden to outputs, and that's the flow of parameters. And then let's take a look at the maximum value in the grid. It's like 4.3. So this is the maximum value that we get from all the parameters inside of our pre-initialized arrays. Now, just like images, we want to make sure these go on the range of 0 to 1. So the reason we grab that max value is we're actually going to divide by that max value to scale it down. So this is one of the things that if you forget to do, if you forget to scale your numbers on the range to 0 of 1, chances are you're going to get a model that won't really work, or it'll take forever for it to learn and take lots and lots of loops. Remember that if you're updating by 0.001 each time, it's just plain going to take forever to move the value by 1. So now we're going to need an activation function. We've talked about ReLU a whole lot of times, and we're going to implement it right here. It's actually pretty simple. It just takes the maximum value of 0 or x, which basically means it throws away negative numbers. We take the dot product of x is our input image, and W1, plus the bias, and then we run the ReLU over it, and then we have a resulting value. And then we do the same thing. We take a dot product of that output value times the second set of weights, add the bias, run the ReLU. And then finally, we take a dot product of the combined weights and then add the bias. And that's our y hat in linear space. So these are going to be our encoded softmax classes. There'll be 10 slots for each one of the input images with a probability in each slot that it is that individual digit. Now that's fairly mathy. And so we're actually going to bring this together with a tiny bit more math where we've actually coded the softmax cross entropy. So you have your y hat, that's your linear classes, and your y, that's your actual classes. And this is actually a lot of math to follow, but the net is that you take the logarithm of the softmax of the linear encoded labels and you multiply it, and it returns an array that has the encoded probability values. The good news is you're not really going to have to deeply understand this once you actually start using Gluon. And then the learning algorithm is simple. We just multiply the learning rate times the gradient, and then subtract the values and head in the right direction. Again, this is actually just for your education and visualization. You can take the time to look through the code online a little bit more. Don't worry about the math. You won't really have to deal with it once you see Gluon here in the next video. Here we have the evaluation of accuracy on the metric, where we're actually just taking the image and flattening it down, running the network over it, adding up all the predictions, and the number of numerator over denominator predictions as a scalar gets to our accuracy. So this is just actually telling us how well our model does. So for 10 loops with a really small learning rate, this is basically doing all the work of the learning loop in code, with one very important exception that MxNet is computing the gradients for us. That autograd record does the gradients, and that tells us whether we need to go in a positive direction or a negative direction in our learning loop. And that's the real observation here. MxNet isn't really a deep learning library so much it is a symbolic math library with built-in support for gradients. And the same basic learning loop we used previously, where we have the mini batch and we run the network and we capture the gradients and the loss and then update the parameters in the optimizer and repeat. So you can see we run the network on the data, we compute the cross entropy softmax loss, and then we run backwards to get the gradients, and then we run the SGD learning algorithm over all of our parameters in the learning rate. And then we can evaluate the accuracy on each training loop and print it out. And you can actually see we're learning. We go from an initial 93% accuracy up to a 96% accuracy, and the training accuracy runs up to 99, and that is a pretty involved way in order to build a neural network. So let's actually look at the much more engineer-friendly way. Alright, now let's do this at a much higher level with Gluon, and this is a substantially more practical approach, and you'll see it's just plain a lot less code. So we're going to bring in MxNet, NumPy, and then we're going to bring in Gluon here. Same parameters controlling our network: 256 hidden layers, 10 outputs, 1 for each digit, 64 batch, 10 epochs, and a little bit higher training rate. Transforming and data loading is the same as before. This is just a cookbook recipe. Remember to divide by 255 and get the individual labels as integers. Now we're going to create a block. This is a reusable class, and as we build blocks over time working with Gluon, we can actually repurpose these into future models. And notice we didn't have to allocate any parameters. There's no W1s, there's no W2s, there's no Bs, there's no real ReLU math. It's actually built in. It's provided for us. So we just call the base class. We get a name scope, which really just divides the namespace of Gluon. We bring the dense layers of hidden, and outputs, so just 1, 2, 3 layers. And then in the forward, we do ReLU over the dense, ReLU over the dense, and then dense over the final output. So you can see that just chains it together. The X is passed along each time, returning the output. Much simpler in order to get this built. We do need an instance of our model, and we do need to initialize all the random weights inside. So we'll use a normal with a Xavier initialization, which is going to give us ranges on -1 to 1 automatically. So create the model, initialize the weights. Much simpler. The softmax cross entropy loss is actually built in, so we just initialize it, and then we initialize our trainer as an instance of stochastic gradient descent. And you see we just pass the parameters in terms of the learning rate. And evaluating our accuracy is much simpler here as well. We just run that over the data, take the argmax to get the prediction, so whatever the highest probability value is our prediction. And then we'll set up the training loop. This is roughly the same here with the training loop with a very small learning rate. Basically, MxNet is doing all the work of figuring out the gradients for you and feeding the loss backward. And then with that loss backward, you actually step the trainer forward, and what that does is inside of the trainer, that's where the loss is multiplied by the learning rate, which updates the parameter values, which then gravitates your model towards the correct answer. This is the one thing that's actually different about working with MxNet or Gluon compared to, say, Keras, is this training loop is a very manual exercise where you actually have to go step through and evaluate the accuracy on your own inside of the model and then work with it. All right, we've seen the multi-layer perceptron in MxNet and Gluon, and now we'll actually do the same thing with TensorFlow and Keras so we can compare them.